Hey everyone, it's Blue Lizard Jello, and welcome back to Blue Plays Scholar of the First Sin, and I am standing in front of the Shrine of Winter. You may have realized that I'm not in the Undead Crypts, even though there was a chest that I had missed and I didn't go back to talk to Agdane as I said I would, but I've decided that because there have been a number of items that I've missed, including chests, as well as talking to NPCs to get some loot there, I am going to make kind of a mini video later on with a kind of a miscellaneous title, just showing some of the loot that I've missed that you guys have graciously pointed out to me, and I will do those things in that video. Instead, we are going to jump right into the last DLC, the Crown of the Ivory King, and let me show you exactly the build that I am using and explain why I've gone with this build. First and foremost, the Lost Sinner Sword +5. I've had a number of requests to actually have me showcase this sword. I've been practicing a little bit and it's a lot of fun. Now there are some nuances that you need to be aware of when you're using this sword. First of all, if you are a sinner in this game, in other words, if you are killing NPCs or if you're killing other players for sport, you are going to acquire sin, and the more sin you have, the more or I guess I should say the less damage that you're going to put out with this sword, to the point where it can actually become almost absolute zero. I believe it'll always do some damage, but absolutely not worth using. But because I am offline and I don't kill NPCs, I am getting the full attack rating out of this. The other nuance is that it has an effect that it attacks the damage wielder. In other words, every time you successfully land a blow with this sword, you take damage, and I believe from the last statistic that I read, it was approximately 30 HP per hit. So something that you don't want to just go and, I guess, not pay attention to your health when you're using this sword. The mirror shield, just because I think it went with the look pretty well. I know it's not a great shield, but I promise I will try to use this as opposed to rolling. And, well, the 90% physical damage reduction and the very low elementals are going to mean that I'm going to have to be very careful using this shield. As for the armor, Archdrake Helm, Faram Armor +4, Pate's Gloves, and the Ironclad Leggings. And the reason I went with this setup is because I think it looks very cold resistant. And that was what I wanted to go for. Because the area we're going into is a wintry setting, there's snow everywhere, there's a blinding snowstorm in the frigid outskirts, I wanted to make it look like, rather, that my character could actually survive the frigid temperatures out there. So that is why I went with what I went with. Plus, I think it actually fits pretty well. I'm actually pretty happy with the way this turned out. My stats, for those of you interested: soul level 135. If you want to look any longer, just pause the video, and I guess you might want to see my rings. Very standard. Haven't really changed that much. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Here we are, and you can see that this armor is going to suit us just fine based on how cold it appears. Just like the other areas, this is the place you want to put down your summon sign if you want to assist with the challenge area. And in this challenge area, probably the worst of the three, the frigid outskirts, you very well may want some assistance from other players. Moving right along, you can see over there you have a bit of a frozen wall and what looks to be an eye kind of looking down on you. We'll be interacting with that very shortly here. Now, the Crown of the Ivory King is still an excellent addition to the base game. It has very good level design. It's not as three-dimensional as the Crown of the Ivory King in that there's not a lot of up and down traversal, but you do have some really good traversing along these fortress walls, both in and outside of it, and I think they did a lot of really good ideas, or they implemented a lot of really good ideas with some of the enemy designs. Some of them are transparent, including an entirely invisible boss that you can choose to fight without a particular item. I am not going to try and fight Ava, the King's Pet, without the item. I'll be making my way to get the item that'll allow me to see it. So if you come this way, right when you come in, Ava is watching. So Alvana, who is actually one of the brides, or the sisters of the other brides, like Natalia and Elena and did I say already Natalia? Natalia, Elena, and Nishandra, that's what it is. But she's actually warning you, go back because Ava is watching. Now, something that you might actually want to know, I know I said I'm not going to fight Ava, and I'm not. But if you come in here and then you realize that you made a huge mistake, skipping the dialogue, you actually can not leave. I've made a horrible decision. I honestly thought that you could leave. Well, you know what? Why not? We're here. Let's give it a good, honest college try and see if we can kill Ava invisible. I know some speedrunners have done it. That was their tactic for a while. But I think we're about to really have... Oh, where are ya? We're... Oh, man, that damage is very real. Oh, there's some damage, though. Oh, you can actually kind of see the outline. Can I get a little heal in? All right. Oh, there she is. That was actually a good indication of where Ava was, but oh, this is gonna kill me. Yeah, there it is. Oh, anyway, we got a couple of hits in, but I went in there just to show that you could leave the fog gate, and guess what? You can't. My bad. Now that I know better, let's go ahead and take the path that's more traveled, and we'll actually make our way through this area, and we'll eventually locate the item that will allow us to see Ava. And the nice thing is they actually added some other changes once you get that item. We'll talk more about that when we get there. But speaking of level design, you can actually see most of the areas that you can eventually get to. You see a bridge over there in the distance. You have this walkway right here. In fact, the item that I'm describing is right there on that glowing corpse, very close to where you will eventually fight Ava. Very cool. I always like when you can actually see the scenery out in the distance of where you're eventually going to be traveling. I really like the combo on this as well. I like the overhead because it's good for tight corridors. But let's go ahead. Let's try an R2. Wow. It would have been better to get the R2 when he was still nearby. And you are almost finished. Oh. There we go. Mirror shield. The fact is, the mirror shield coupled with the only 90% physical reduction, well, I should say the 90% physical reduction of the mirror shield coupled with the fact that I'm going to take damage as I actually hit enemies, like so, means that I'm going to be popping a lot of healing items. Okay, a couple of things to talk about here. You have a broken lever here, so you cannot move this elevator, but we're going to need to in order to access the chest that you can see right there. We'll be moving that from a different location, and on this bridge, let me take care of this one ice warrior first. There we go. There's the R2. Right here, we have another enemy called a retainer. This retainer is not going to bother you right now, so you can actually run ahead, you can loot, you can do what you want. Eventually, there's going to be a change in the environment, and that is actually going to spring these enemies to life. For now, you can just completely ignore them. You can kill them if you'd like, but just be warned, or not warned, just be aware that you don't have to right now. Hopefully we can get some drops. They have some pretty interesting drops, some of these enemies, and I would like to showcase them if I can get them. Alright, we have a few dogs here. Are they linked? Yeah, it looks like they are linked. Let's do one of these. Oh, just missed. Alright. There we go. Got them. And you have to keep your eyes open for loot because of the cloudy atmosphere, which will actually get better later on. You need to be on the lookout for corpses because sometimes you may not actually see the shiny. And in typical DLC fashion, we just got an upgraded weapon, the Winged Spear +7. We got some torches here, which will come in handy later on. Not that we didn't already have a number of it already saved up. Okay, these ice crystals, you cannot get through. They don't break. You can't roll through them. You can't use fire bombs. But eventually, as I said, something's going to change with the atmosphere, and you are going to be able to get through here. Similarly, these ice spikes will no longer be here. In this courtyard, you have 1, 2, 3 visible enemies. But if you think that's all there are, then you clearly haven't been paying attention to how this game works. So let's get some attention. Ooh, the reach on that pike. Got you. Let's hide and heal. Good old hide and heal. And now we have the caster down there. You also have a retainer right here, but you can just see the feet of an enemy there. So let's get his attention. Get somewhere safe from the caster. Oh, tried to go for the backstep attack. There we are. I'm going to heal up again. I'm trying to use Estus more liberally. One of the comments that I keep getting is, Blue, why do you resort to life gems instead of the Estus flask, especially when you have... Oh boy! Oh wow, okay. I'm not really sure what happened there. But anyway, why do I use life gems when I have so many Estus flasks left? And the fact of the matter is, I have this strange notion in my head that I can never get my Estus back. Even though we all know if you die, if you rest at a bonfire, you get all of them back, there's just something in my head that doesn't allow that to become a reality. So instead, I buy the life gems, which only come back if I go back to Malentia and buy them. Let's block. You're done. Oh, there goes my stamina. Oh, and there it goes again. Wow. Let's just finish you then. Very good. So in this DLC, you do have to make a couple of runs to get all the items, because there are some enemies, there are some items hidden. You can actually see right in there. You can see something. We'll have to explore that later once the ice is clear. The area does actually become a little bit more dangerous, even though you can see the enemies a little better. You now have to face a lot more enemies per section. Okay, we have that guy up there who's going to cast. We have the retainer there who's not going to do anything. No items over here. Whoa, boy. Now we have this bridge, but we can't cross it. And I'll show you why, but let me take care of these enemies. This is definitely another area where you're going to have to come through again. Oh, right, this guy. All right, let's get a running R1. And I know I said no rolling, but that was more of an escape than a dodge, in my opinion. At least that's how I'm justifying it. All right, let's... Nope. Finish. Nope. And finish. Oh, you booger. All right, that time I rolled. I understand. Oof. Getting some practice with the Lost Sinner Sword. You can see over there you have a retainer, and you have a corpse cleared with a shiny. Not a lot you can do here right now. So, we will be back. But before I go into that fog gate, it's not a boss, but let me show you the bridge and why exactly we can't do anything just yet. First reason is because right here, where you would imagine there might be a doorway, there absolutely is, but that ice needs to be cleared first. And right here, you have a very large gap in the bridge, and no, you cannot jump it. But if you're wondering, yes, there is a way for you to actually clear that gap. Well, not clear, but I guess close that gap so you can run across it. But we're going to be seeing that not for a good long while yet. So we'll take the one path that we have. It's interesting mechanic in this DLC because you start out fairly linearly. What am I trying to say? Linearly. But once the atmosphere actually changes, you have a lot more options as far as where you can go. Uh-oh. Alright, this became just a little bit more dangerous than I had hoped. Goodbye, doggy. You know what? The Lost Sinner Sword would actually be a very interesting sword to use in connection... Whoa! I didn't think it was going to charge at me. Oh, bother. What I was trying to say, I will finish when I'm revived and back in this area. Let's go ahead and take this just a little bit safer, huh? Let's get some attentions, but let's pull him to the bottleneck. In fact, let's go ahead and two-hand. Because the nice thing about the two-hand is that it has a very nice horizontal moveset. Perfect for corridor usage. There we go. All right, 2 down at least. 3 down. Oh, bad rolling. That's all right, because we're not supposed to be rolling, right? There we go. Excellent. So they're dead. So we have left and right. Let's check out right first. Although we're not going to be able to do a whole lot here. I'm going to tell you that right now. You may have noticed that those with the ice crystals on their back are very difficult to stagger. And that is because they have added defense due to those crystals. A pair of retainers here who couldn't care less about our presence, which is good. Which is good. And then up here, we have this guy. We have a new one. Fortunately, doesn't do a lot of stamina damage, but he does a lot of regular damage. And can we finish? Oh no. Oh no. Did we get him? Oh, we actually got him. I was not aware that somehow that last hit actually connected when I plunged, so good for us. Good for us. Unfortunately, up here, we have 3 chests that we can't do anything with because they're frozen. So I guess we just wasted a trip, huh? Not exactly. Because if you walk very carefully, you can drop down here. Oh, nope. This is not where the item is. You can drop down again. We have this little guy just hanging out on the ledge, Monastery Charm, and look where we are. We have the retainer. Hiding behind the tree is the Dark Clutch ring. So we have the clutch rings present in the DLC, and they enhance whatever element they actually are named after. For example, this is the Dark Clutch ring, so this will improve any dark damage that you do with weapons that have dark infusions, or if they have natural dark damage. It also will improve the damage done by hexes. Very cool ring indeed. I really like that they added the clutch rings. Alright, in this area, I have to be pretty careful in. Get the attack off. My word, the damage they do. Now this area becomes a lot worse once the retainers wake up. But it is still no walk in the park right now. We have another decision here. We have left, right, we have straight. Let me show you where straight leads. Straight leads to this. You have what is clearly a door. You have 4 sconces out here. If you've ever played a Zelda game, you know exactly what to do. Let's go ahead and do it. You know what? Actually, before I use a flame butterfly, I'm being a bit hasty. And I'll show you why I'm being hasty just up ahead. I'm being hasty because there is a bonfire, but I forgot you have to jump down to it. So maybe we're not being as hasty as I thought. And over here to the left, I believe is... well, we have a hollow. And we have... I believe this is a dead end, so I think we can explore this pretty safely. If I remember correctly... alright, so we have to get through these guys. Oh no, you're kidding. Well, the durability on the Lost Sinner Sword apparently does leave a lot to be desired. I'm going to have a backup weapon. Which will probably just be, I'm going to try to menu here. It's apparently going to be the Wing Spear for now. And the reason is, I didn't bring anything else. Oh, the poke damage. Oh, the poke damage. Well, until we can get to the bonfire, we're going to try to make do. Fortunately for us, this area is pretty short. You have another enemy. You have that item right there, but let's make sure we can kill this guy first. Oh, good stagger ability, though. Wing Spear. Who knew? Probably everyone but me. But I should probably try locking on. Winged Spear. as a backup. Okay, I'm not too angry. But this is why we came out here. The only item, the old bell helm. Goodness gracious, words are escaping me today. Let me show you. Pretty fun. It is actually a bell, and not only is it actually a bell, but it prevents you from from taking headshot damage. And if you get hit in the head, let's say with an arrow, it will actually make a dinging sound, just like you hit a bell. It's so fun. Alright, so we need to get repair powder on our hotbar. How many do I have left? Because I didn't buy any from Chancellor Welliger. I have 5. And I didn't break this yet. What are we at, though? 3 out of 50? Oh, boy. Okay. Well, let's use 1 or 2 just to last us till we get to that bonfire, because I would like to do that optional area. Because we are getting close to wrapping this episode up, I believe. Pop a life gem to heal. And we will pop a flame butterfly to light those sconces. There we go. What happened? Where did my torch go? I guess I canceled out a little bit too soon. Interesting. I think it still used the flame butterfly, though. That's right. It didn't cancel it. We can't use it yet because of the high wind. Guys, I am so sorry. I am forgetful as all get out when it comes to this DLC. So, because of the high amount of wind, you can't light a torch anywhere until we actually get that wind to subside. Which means I didn't need to use that repair powder. Not at all. Alright, let's push forward. Let's push forward. What do we have next? We have, okay, another gauntlet here. Draw the enemies if you can. Good stagger. Oh boy. Can I kill you? Yes, I can. Alright. Being very cautious. We're going to go and try to get some damage on this guy pretty quick. There we go. Yes, you can attack them before they're up. Okay, we have an enemy. Oh, we have an enemy there. An enemy firing bolts. We have a bunch of retainers up there guarding some items, but let's pull this one. Oh boy, that would have hurt. Alright, let's stagger and back up. Yep. That was a poor dodge, poor block on my part. He fell for it. Literally. Alright, I know. You know what? Why am I using life gems? I just rested. That was just silly. Let's go ahead and heal to full. We have an item there, but first we really need to deal with this enemy, causing nothing but problems. And we heard another enemy just thaw. I guess not really thaw, but just break out of his shell. Come on, give me something. And the finish. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Some Lloyd's talismans here for us. And as we go up further, nothing in here, just a little alcove. And you are going to be wondering how you get to those items that they are guarding. Well, you can look and find this path right between the buildings, and I believe this is actually where I was thinking, where there is an item over here. Yes, sirree. The Ring of the Embedded. So we had the key to the embedded, now we have the ring to the embedded, and what does that ring do exactly? Ring crafted from the chains of the embedded, so it's actually the gentleman who is chained up in the top of Drangleic Castle. You receive various benefits, but at the cost of increased damage taken. Gain surprises, but take increased damage. So you take increased damage, but I believe you actually do some additional damage, but it's really not that much, so user beware. User beware. The Dark Dance. So this is a hex kind of like the Fire Serpent or the Fire Snake Pyromancy. It will cause a hex that will actually kind of weave itself towards your opponent, and it can be really hard to dodge. Very interesting. Door here that's not going to open for us, and now our first, oh boy, first example of these larger knights, but they open themselves up to backstabs very readily. Very readily indeed. Ooh, what did we get? Oh, we got the Rampart Golem Lance. We actually got the weapon that he was just using. I know that I just ran past an item. I was just opening the door. Don't worry. Don't worry. And what do we have waiting for us? We have our first view, first and foremost, of the area that we started in. I guess not our first view, but our first return view. We have some items over there, but we also have a rampart golem, we have some hollows, and a door behind him that's not going to do us any good until we have the key to go in there. Ugh, and I wish, honestly, that we were never going to find that key, because that is the entrance to the frigid outskirts. It's just absolute nightmare. Ugh, but we'll do it. We'll do it eventually. I love this room. I love this room when it's still frozen. I don't mind it when it's not frozen, but I think when you come in here and you can see, okay, you have a number. Oh, what did you drop? Oh, the ice rapier. I'll show that in just a moment. You have a bunch of chests, but you also have what is clearly a mimic. And the funny thing is, when this is eventually thawed out, he is not going to be an attack animation. He is going to revert back to his chest form. So unless you have a terrible memory, which I sometimes do, you will remember that that is an actual enemy. The ice rapier. This thing is brutal. The pokes, of course, just like a rapier. But there's the strong R2. Or I guess the R2. That's kind of redundant. If you can get in there with a poke and then you get an R2, not to mention, if you're close enough to your enemy so you actually hit them with the sword, they will take the physical damage and they will take the magic damage. It's brutal. Trust me when I say it can be bad. You have the rampart golem waiting for us. And now we have another area where later on we're going to have some more choices, but you can see just barely above my head. Well, now he's invisible. Wait till the wind to subside. Wait for the wind to subside. There he is. You can see the outline of an enemy here. And he is... Oh, why am I using... Ice rapier broken. Alright, good. Well, I didn't actually mean to use that. And now, I don't know where I'm being attacked from. So let's heal. Anyway, if you run down this hallway... Oh, and he just healed. What a jerk. Oh, where did you go? Don't kill me. Oh, that was close. That was too close. Let's double chug that. Divine blessing. But as I was saying, if you aren't careful, you're going to run down that bridge towards the Ferris Lockstone contraption, but then you might actually get hit with that ballista. And same is true right here. Oh, where are you hitting me from? Where are you hitting? There you are. Finish. Good. Ferris Lockstone that you can't use because it is frozen, much like the rest of frozen Eleum Loyce. And this is a devious trap right here. Couple of shinies right in front of a ballista. You're unsuspecting because you haven't seen any enemies in a while. And that's when they come at you. Not from the front, but from the side. From the other two transparent enemies, you didn't even know were there. Can anyone actually pick up on the quote that I just used, or at least the reference? Frozen chest, can't do anything with it. Another retainer. Let's see what's just on the other side here. Be careful. And here we have a lever. Where do we suppose this lever goes? Well, let's see what actually comes up on the elevator. I'm going to top off in the meantime. As mentioned earlier, we saw that chest on the other side of this elevator that's holding these caskets. Now we can access it. Very cool. So it just takes some exploration to find out everything that you're looking for. Okay. Watch that guy. I always like to get the backstabs on them because they really just open themselves up so frequently. There we are. Green blossom on that corpse. So again, that's where we began our adventure. Up here, up by the actual frozen tendrils of frozen Eleum Loyce. We have another door we can go in with. Oh, geez. A bunch of dogs who I am missing entirely. My word. All right. There we go. They are dead. I hear another. I do hear another. Oh, there you are. You gonna hop down? No? I'll come to you. It's fine. I have no problem with that. No, you cannot make that jump. We'll have to access it another way. And in order to access it, well, let me show you. And maybe this is going to be cheating. I don't know. Oh, bother. Would you... Really? Would you just cooperate for just a moment? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So in order to get up to that second floor, if you look around, you're not going to see a whole lot that's going to help you out. Except, well, maybe, just maybe, you can see a doorway up there. I mean, this would take someone incredibly observant, looking in places that, honestly, they have no reason to be looking. But there's no way to get up there. Unless you walk to this wall and it says climb up. You see, it's not just enemies that are invisible before you pick up that special item that we are on our way to acquire. There is actually a hidden ladder as well, leading up to a chest. And inside said chest is the Splintering Lightning Spear. A very interesting miracle. Sadly, a very useless miracle because, well, it's a miracle. They nerfed this along with the Great Lightning Spear and all other lightning-based miracles long ago, so the damage that it puts out is just not viable. But guys, that is actually going to wrap up this first episode. We didn't make it as far as I would have liked, but we are going to be going through this area a couple times, so be prepared for some more adventures in Frozen Eleum Loyce, and some more Blue tries to learn desperately how to use the blasted Lost Sinner sword. And you're not dead. Don't kill me as I'm trying to wrap up, please. Oh my word. Why did I use a life gem? That's not good. And please die, and don't kill me. Oh, there we go. Anyway, what a way to end the episode. So we are going to pick up exactly here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, or insults, put them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.